Welcome to the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, January 12th, 2012. I'm your host, Peter Bush. In the Phoenix Monitor today, we'll talk to Mike Spring. He's the head coach of Crimson Aquatics, and he is also the coach of the newly formed men's and women's swim teams at Merrimack College, just outside of Boston. Mike joins us right now in the Phoenix Monitor. And Mike, welcome to the Morning Swim Show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Tell us about Merrimack College.
It's a small Catholic school, about 35 minutes north of Boston. The school's looking to expand in the next couple of years, bringing in more students. We're a Division II program, and just really excited to get going with the team.
Natural fit for you. I mean, you've been living in that area for a long, long time. You're familiar with the swimming talent in the area?
Yeah, I've been here for about, I think it's 18 years now, so I'm real familiar with what's around. I'm hoping my access to at the national meets with my club kids will give me some contact with kids throughout the U.S., and I can really kind of expand the program quickly.
All right, so what size of program are we starting off with here?
Hoping to get 7 men and 7 women in the first year. Kind of getting a late hire. I realize I'm behind the recruiting process, so I'm just hoping maybe there's even some kids on campus that had swam in high school that looking to get back into it.
Is the school giving you some scholarships to work with?
Yes, I'm gonna start off with about almost 5 scholarships for women and 3 for men, and then hopefully as the years roll on, I can keep increasing that.
Now, are you going to be able to continue working with Crimson as you have for many years while still doing the college gig?
Yeah, right now the Merrimack job is part-time, and so then I was need to keep going with Crimson, but I love the club. I've built the club up to where we're at, and I'll continue to do both, and I think I'll figure out a way to make them both work.
Well, Crimson is kind of like the club team for Harvard, right?
It is. It's we kind of use that as our base pool. Sundays we can get together and train the whole club together, and it really works out well for us.
But you have, what, satellite programs then, if that's the base pool?
Yeah, we have a satellite here in Andover where I coach, and then obviously there's the one at Harvard, and then there's another one out in Whitensville, which is about 40 minutes west of Boston.
How many kids total?
We're just about 300 kids. We're a little shy of that, but I think we're growing at a pretty rapid rate. I think our biggest problem right now is actually finding pool space to fit the kids that want to join in.
Yeah, I would say pool space in any urban environment's a bit of a challenge. But you guys are making it work. I mean, you're on USA Swimming's Club Excellence list again.
Yeah, we are. I think we're doing it. We have a great coaching staff. Carl Cederquist is in Whitensville. Jack Levitt is head coach down at Harvard, and myself. And I think we have about 22 coaches. We really try to keep that ratio coach to swimmer small. And I think it's just a great group. We get along great. It's we really like to hang out together and talk about swimming, and I think that's what really makes it work.
Now, how would you describe your coaching style? How do you like to train the kids?
I'm more a scientific coach. I think swimming, I look at it as being more of a learned response. We do a lot of time. We spend about 3 days a week for an hour just doing 25s, where we work on just tempo and speed and trying to match those two together. A lot of kids, we put them through a stroke frequency test, which shows me which rates they should be swimming at, and then we kind of just train that, repeatedly, hoping for a great response when they dive into race.
So give me an example. If a kid's a 200 swimmer, you're doing 25s trying to be at that 200 pace just over and over again?
Yes, yeah, we'll do it for about an hour. We'll do sets of 16 with about a minute and a half rest between each set, and we'll do that for an hour.
Now, can that work for shorter distances? I would imagine it's a little bit more challenging for 50 and 100 swimmers.
It is. I think I'm not looking for. We're a developmental program. I think we're looking for kids to reach their peak in college, not really necessarily with me. So we're really kind of just trying to set them up for a great college career. And I don't really want to pigeonhole anybody at this age. And it really works in the whole dynamic of every event. I think 60% of my kids, probably their first junior cuts the mile. So I think we can train them from the 50 all the way up to the mile. We had Rachel Moore just got third at juniors in the 50. She went 22.9. And then we had Ashley Korsberg who got fourth in the mile, at 16, 16:30, something, I think.
But the thinking is if they can understand the pace, then that sets a great foundation?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes them really familiar with their own bodies and what works. And, and I think a lot of it is when we do 25, there's instant feedback. You can talk to a swimmer after every 25, do stroke correction, and that gives them a lot of opportunity to do, some self-correction. They know if they're not making their time, but they're doing their rate, because we use the tempo trainer, then they can make some corrections on their own even.
Now there's like actually computer software you can use to train with this kind of stuff right now.
There is, yeah. The Vita sports system, which we use at Harvard on Tuesdays and Thursdays, mainly with the distance swimmers. It has the attachments for the wrists, the ankles, and one in the cap, and that actually takes a step farther by showing much more that's going on during practice and during swims. It sends it back that we can look at tempo, race pace, lap speed, there's lots of other things they can use that out of that system that expands on it.
So somebody like Alex Meyer, one of the better open water swimmers in the country right now, does he use that?
He does. What we're trying to do with Alex is find the right tempo and pace for a 10K. Obviously much longer than what we'd ever do in a pool, where we're going to conserve enough energy, but maintain speed so he can stay with the pack without wearing himself out. And then have enough left for a good sprint at the finish.
So do you get the feedback instantaneously where you can correct things within a specific set, for example, or is it something that you have to like look at a computer readout after?
No, it'll send you every time they do a turn, it then sends the information to the laptop so you can take a look at it. So we can look at after every swim, or we can sit down and wait and do it at the end of practice. We're trying right now to come up with some good test sets and parameters to apply this to. So we're really kind of in a lot of learning stage right now with it, and to be able to press on with it in the future and really get a lot out of it.
It's funny how there's so many different ways that you can teach swimmers to be successful. The many different coaching philosophies that we've talked about on the show and that just exist out there.
Yeah, well, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, and I think there's a lot of smart guys out there coaching swimming. So I think, they're all getting the job done, obviously, with the success that the teams out there are having.
Well, Mike, thanks a lot for sharing some of your knowledge, and good luck with the move back into college swimming. Should be fun. All right, that's Mike Spring joining us in the Finis Monitor today, and that's it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.